The countdown to the first presidential debate just 3 days away, with the race at dead heat in our 538 polling average. This could be the most consequential debate in decades. Our chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce and Rachel Scott, who's following the Trump campaign, are going to join us from Washington. Mary, let me begin with you. Weekend of prep at Camp David for the president.
Yeah, that's exactly right, George. The president this morning continues to be hunkered down at Camp David. He is fine-tuning his messaging, honing his attack lines, and preparing for, as you said, what is expected to be the highest stake moment in this rematch so far. Now, the president is expected to stay there at Camp David until the debate on Thursday. He's huddling there with over a dozen advisors, and over the coming days, his prep is expected to evolve from gaming out questions and answers to holding 90-minute mock debates. Now, the president knows, look, he needs a strong performance here. He knows voters are concerned about his age. We are told he's likely to be more pointed and punchier in his attacks against Donald Trump. And for months, the Biden campaign has suggested that Americans aren't really dialed into this race yet. That changes on Thursday night. This is the president's chance to engage a whole new audience and to really make clear what's really at stake here, George.
And Rachel, in the past, Donald Trump has not gone through traditional debate prep. What about this time?
Almost everything that President Biden is doing, Donald Trump is not. There are no mock debates. There are no rehearsed punchlines or pivot points. The former president also didn't take any time away from the campaign trail. He was out here in Washington, D.C. and in Pennsylvania. He was mocking President Biden for being at Camp David and meeting with his senior advisors, preparing for the debate. But we've also seen this change in tone from Donald Trump after months of attacking President Biden, attacking his mental fitness. In recent days, he's called him a worthy debater. And even though the former president was out on the campaign trail essentially saying that he has no debate strategy, in reality, he is preparing more than he is actually letting on. I'm told he's had more than a dozen informal policy sessions with current and past advisors, as well as Republican allies, George.
Mary, this race has been deadlocked for months. Does the Biden campaign expect it to be a game changer?
That is certainly their hope. Look, the president's goal here is to hold Donald Trump accountable. He wants to remind voters of the chaos of the Trump presidency, and he is going to warn that there are even darker days ahead should Donald Trump win again. We know he is going to put abortion rights front and center. He's going to continue to argue that Donald Trump is to blame for overturning Roe versus Wade. He's going to say that Donald Trump is a danger to democracy. Again, hammer that point that Donald Trump has said that he will be a dictator on day one. But the challenge, George, for the president here is that he has to show that he can go after Trump without getting dragged into the mud with him. We all remember that extremely contentious, chaotic first debate of the last cycle. The president wants to avoid that, so he has to find a way to go after Trump, to land his punches, while also showing that he can be a steady leader, George.
Rachel, Donald Trump says he doesn't have a strategy. How about his campaign?
Yeah, well, look, his advisors are keenly aware that no one really benefited from that shouting match that we saw unfold last time around. And they also know, George, so much has changed since these last candidates saw each other, namely January 6th and also the former president's legal troubles. And so he's been on the campaign trail saying he would pardon the rioters that stormed the Capitol on January 6th. He's since been convicted of 34 counts of falsifying business records. They are preparing for those topics to come up on that debate stage, George.
Okay, Rachel, Mary, thanks very much. This Thursday night, you can watch the CNN presidential debate on ABC. It all starts at 8 Eastern with the ABC News special Race for the White House.